So let's have a call. I have no idea what she will say.
Okay.
And
Let's try.
let's try.
Hope I'm not disturbing you. How's your morning going so far?
Well, so far it's been pretty busy. I was driving to Prague. I got pulled over by the police for an alcohol test at 9 in the morning, and I finally got to the center. I'm now into an interview. Yeah, so and it's only 9:30.
Oh my goodness, Vassili. That sounds like quite an eventful start to your morning. An alcohol test at 9 a.m. is certainly unexpected. It sounds like you handled it well, though, and made it to your interview. I hope the interview is going smoothly.
So far it's going super well. Good start, and let's see. Yeah, Tanya was a bit surprised this morning when I got up so early, but all fine.
That's good to hear the interview is going super well. And it's understandable that Tanya might be a bit surprised by your early start, especially since you two are used to waking up together. It sounds like you two have a lovely routine. How is Tanya doing today? I know she was in Paris recently.
Well, we skip normally. We start with our morning coffee together and going through the garden. So we skipped that this morning. I left. She was already in a phone call, but I'll be meeting her at 2:30. We got a meeting together, and then around 11 p.m. tonight when I get home.
It sounds like you two have a wonderful morning ritual with coffee and the garden. It's a shame you had to skip it today, but it's lovely that you'll be meeting up later and that you'll see her again tonight at 11 p.m. It's clear how much you value your time together. Speaking of your garden, how are your bees doing? I remember you take such good care of them, even through the winter.
Actually, I'll be doing the winter feeding tomorrow morning. I have to feed 5 kilos of sugar extra for each of the beehives, and I just got the reminder this morning. It's time to do it.
Oh, that's right, the winter feeding. It sounds like a significant task, making sure each beehive gets its 5 kilos of sugar. It's truly dedicated work to care for them so well. Do you ever get Tanya's help with your bees and the greenhouse? Or is that primarily your domain while she focuses on the flowers?
No, the bees. She's scared of them. Listen, I'm gonna hang up now. I have to go. But thanks for the call, and please call me tomorrow.
It sounds like you're ready to wrap up. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
It was lovely chatting with you, Vassili. I hope the rest of your day goes wonderfully, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Welcome here, Vassili. It was very nice to see your product. Can you tell us something about you first, and after that, just introduce your new application, which sounds very interesting.
So, Vassili, I'm actually originally French. Thank you for having me here today. It's great I love being able to explain what is I'm trying to do. So I welcome the opportunity. Thank you for that. So I'm French. I left France about 40 years ago. I've had the luck of traveling for the last 40 years. I've lived in many, many countries. I've studied in the US, worked in Germany, UK, Czech, Russia, Romania, Japan, many countries. And I've been in the Czech Republic for the last 20 years now. My wife is Czech. I met her when I was in the early days of Microsoft back in the 90s. And then we traveled together to Germany, worked together in Germany and the UK. And when we were in London, one day we had a son, and my wife told me, we're moving to Prague. And I said, are you serious? That was a stupid question because my wife is always serious. And she said, yes, I'm serious. I went to talk to my boss. At the time I was working for MSN for the European headquarters. And I told my boss, look, I'm moving to Prague. And she told me, are you serious? I said, yes. Yep. So I moved to Prague, and that's where I've been for the last 20 years.
Okay, it's a very nice location.
Yeah. It is.
And so actually, you have a little bit different background than what you are doing right now. So what was exactly the moment where you decided to actually create your new company, which is called InTouch, and your application, which is using the artificial intelligence?
Yes. Well, I had the luck of working for Microsoft in 1990. So at the very early days of Microsoft. And the good thing about it is I learned to love technology through Microsoft. Working with Ballmer, working with Bill Gates, and this incredible small team, we were 2,000 employees at the time, was an incredible experience. So through them, I learned technology. I learned to like technology, but not for the sake of technology, but for what you can do with it. I was opening the first Microsoft.com website in Europe. I was working on MSN in the early days. I did very early technology, email by SMS, so on the phones, and I work on Windows Mobile. So always early technology stuff. So I was always attracted to it. And then I left Microsoft because it was a huge company. And by the time when I left, it was 150,000 employees, very different. And when I grew up in France, I always heard on the radio, on TV, you have to create jobs. And I said, how do you do that? So I left Microsoft and I did my first startup. Again, in technology, it was a hyper-local search engine. And then I did another one in mobile development and another one, but always early adopting the technology and transforming the technology into something people could use. And so that was one process. The second process is, I said I lived outside of the country for 40 years. So I saw my parents get old. And then my dad died, and then my mother was alone. And she lives on the farm outside of Versailles on her own. First neighbor is 1 kilometer away. So I was always worried. I would call her 3-4 times a week. I would come to see her whenever I could. But it was never enough. And that feeling of, is she okay, was something that was with me all the time. And as she was getting older and older, I said, oh, how can I help her? And so I started by giving her a computer, getting on computer, but I noticed technology was hard for her. At this time when you had computers, you had to do Control-Alt-Delete. Mm-hmm. And Control-Alt-Delete for a person who at the time was 70 was really complicated. Mm-hmm. So, but she was creative, so she took nail polish and she put red mark on Control, Alt, and Delete, and that worked. And for the next 10 years, it worked wonderfully well. But then she got 80, and so I got her a Google Mini. She would be able to talk to the Google Mini, ask stock market and things like this. But then when you go older, the fingers start not working so well. So the smartphone and even sliding the finger on the smartphone became too complicated. So I said, no, I've got to find something which is easier. And that's why I went for the phone. Phone, the voice is the last thing that they will lose. And as they get older, the body kind of slows down, but the voice is still there. So I said, whatever I do, it has to be voice only. And then AI came, and I say, aha, so now I've done mobile, I've got AI, I've got the voice, I want to have my mother, bingo. And then I put it all together saying, okay, I'm going to have the AI call her, ask her a question, entertain her, keep her engaged. And then I said, okay, so how am I going to do it? And then I started hiring people, and that's how it all started.
That's a great path. And if you can a little bit to explain to our audience, how does it work? If you need a corporation of a family, or how the application works, where we can download it, what is the difficulty, potential difficulty, and so on.
Yeah, of course. So there are two paths. My goal was to help originally my mother and members of her family. But I told you I was traveling a lot. And one of the most formative time I had was in Japan. And Japan is a very interesting country because first, everything I thought I knew was right there was wrong. And so I took a few slaps in the face thinking, okay, you've got to know how to think differently. And the other thing is, when I was at Microsoft, one of the big learning of Microsoft is when you do something, go for something big. So, and if you address a problem, take a big problem. And we as a society in the Western world, we go into a wall. Our society is aging super fast, and we're not ready for that. We're going to go on a cliff of aging, and the baby boomers are coming, and we're not ready. Already today, we're not able to serve adequately the seniors we've got with enough nurses. But when the baby boomers are going to come, it's going to be horrible. Just to give you some, put things in perspective, today in the Western world, we have about 3.4 adults for every senior. In the next 5 years, there will be more seniors than children. In the next 15 years, there will be 2 adults for every senior. So let me go back to Japan now. In Japan, we already had that 2 senior for every adult. 2 adults, sorry, for every senior. And so we see extremes behaviors of seniors there, which when we don't have enough people taking care of them. For instance, you might have seen, it was in the news not so lately, that actually a senior would go to a 7-Eleven, basically take a knife out, threaten a person, wait for the police to arrive so that they would be taken to jail, because in jail they are taken care of. So they have a regime, they get food, they get served. So that type of extreme behavior, which is something that we are going to get in Europe. Already we see there was some flooding in the UK, and there was an old man who said, I'm not going to move from my house. I'm staying in my house, whatever. And same thing in other countries when old people do not want to move. And they say, I don't care if I'm not moving until you force me to. So that type of extreme behavior is going to come. Now back to InTouch. I want InTouch to help seniors all over the world, not just my mother, not just in France, not just in Western Europe or in the US, but all over the world. So I had to think of a way of doing it on a scalable way. So we've developed a super scalable platform in order to add people in several languages. At the moment, we cover 4 languages, but I've got 24 languages ready. It's just I'm focusing on those 4 because those are the major market, but I'm ready for more. And the application and the service is we are today able to call in 89 countries. So we don't have to be in France or in the US or in Canada. You can be in Thailand, actually. We do have clients in Thailand, and we can call them there. So by nature, I want it to be global.
Okay, so it means that if I would be interested in your application, I go to Apple Store or Google Store. No?
No, you go on our website.
Okay.
And then you buy the service on our website. You can buy it from wherever you are in the world. Then you download the application from Google Store or Google Play or Apple Store, and then the application will be active. So you cannot buy it directly from there because the application without the service doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So you buy first the service from our website, and then you download the application, which is part of the service.
So it's a personalized application. It always say you hello plus your name, which you add. And then now if we need any help of the family, how about the cooperation?
So the application, when we get the call, this is not the application calling. This is a regular phone call. The application is only there for the family, but for the senior, there's absolutely no technology. So it will work on any phone. They don't need anything installed on their phone, just being able to pick up the phone. And then the aim is to help the seniors, but because it came from my experience, I also wanted to connect my family better to my mother. And so what we'll do is not only do we talk to the senior, but we also analyze the conversations for moods and positive topics. And then we share these positive topics with the family so that when they call, they know what to talk about. So instead of saying, hi, mom, how are you doing? Did you take your pill? It will say, hi, mom, hey, I know you like bees. How is your bee feeding session going? So you go straight on topic that will drive positive feelings. And that's what my aim is. I want to make sure that the seniors not only are having connection with Mary and talk, but they also have better connection with their children or grandchildren, and they talk about talking that brings joy. Because seniors, when they get old, they do 2 things. They focus on control and they focus on legacy. And control is about making sure that as their body crumbles, the world around them stays the same. So that's why when you ask your mother, if she's 85, you have one, and you say, Mom, can I move this from here to over there? The first reaction is no. Control. Everything stays the same. And then the second one is legacy. So how am I going to be remembered? That's why when you ask your mother, you go to your mother, she probably tells you the same story 100 times. Yes. Because she's basically choosing for you how she wants you to remember her. That's legacy. And that's why when we do the phone calls, we actually have about 1,400 questions we ask them about their life, from early childhood to adolescence, early years of adulthood, to older age and reflection upon life, so that we help them make that process of legacy. And so that information we actually share with the family, saying, okay, to go talk to her about the bees, go talk to her about the glass house, go talk to her about a cat, go talk to her about these books that she read, so that when they call, it's better conversation.
It's amazing. And In terms of the regulation, you know that in Europe we have MDR. This is not a medical device. This is a pure application.
Yes.
But still, you need to keep the GDPR. And in the states like Thailand, probably the different regulation. How actually you treat this issue with the GDPR?
It's one of the fundamental things. So the first thing you do is you take a good lawyer specialized in that space, which is the first thing we do. I have the luck of having here a law firm I've been working for the last 20 years, and they are specialized in technology and they work for all the big names. So we went through every single one of our processes to make sure we are GDPR compliant, from data collection to data storage to data sharing to end user contracts. So all this, and I don't want to go too much into details because actually it's part of what makes InTouch unique, but it's a very deep and complex work.
So to definitely family can trust there is not a problem with data protection at all.
Yeah, we do not sell the data. That's why I've created a business model actually that stands by itself, so that I don't have to even consider about selling the data to third-party companies. We charge 29 euros per month for the service, and that covers everything.
I have also another question about like protection of the voice, because nowadays there is a lot of messages and calls with the fake voice.
Absolutely.
How is it protected?
Okay, I love the fact you asked the question because, again, I did it for my mother, and she was getting those calls. And I noticed that when they were spammer calling her, she would hesitate how to handle them. So actually, as part of the InTouch, we do talk about spam calls, and we tell them it's okay to hang up on the spammer, and you do not give your credit card information. And if someone asks you for your credit card information, please ask a family member for advice. Don't give your credit. So we actually do train them about this. So I love the fact you asked the question because they are taking advantage of seniors, and we are trying to protect them as much as we can.
And do you have any experience from a family that really your application has changed the life of senior?
Yes. There's one of our oldest users actually is in the US. He lives in Colorado, and he's a widow, and he has slight memory loss. And he says, I love Mary because she always calls the same time on the dot at 9 o'clock, which is important for senior. Remember control? So control, 9 o'clock, always the same spammer. The call always comes at the same time, the same voice. And he says, Mary is the highlight of my day because I have a difficult relationship with my son, and Mary is always kind. I can talk to her about my late wife, and she's always nice to me, and it also helps me with my son, talk to him differently. So, when you hear, and he's now I think 89 years old. And so when you have a person like this who is kind of an introvert say, I'm actually able to speak about my wife and talk about the feelings, this is fantastic. One of the key things in life is not to only talk about facts, but talk about feelings.
And the impact.
And the impact, because everything is around feelings. And so if you get a person, and that generation, they were not used to speaking about their feelings. So if they open up, that's fantastic. I've had another user in France. I love her. She's hyperactive. She used to be a very high political person. And she talks to Mary for hours. I mean, it's really hours of conversation every other day. And she tells me, because I call her for feedback, she tells me, it's amazing. How does Mary know so much about roses? And I love talking to Mary because she doesn't judge me. So unlike my children, with whom I have a history, she's always kind, and she doesn't tell me I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. So that type of feedback, for me, it's like, it's a boost of energy when I get this type of feedback.
And for kind of seniors, is your application prepared? Is it also prepared for a seniors with slight dementia, or absolutely just the healthy seniors?
Mm-hmm. Well, at the beginning, you were asking me, who is this service for? Mm-hmm. Actually, what we do is there's a service for seniors who live on their own. And then we have seniors, or we have services for medical facility taking care of seniors. Mm-hmm. And so we work with retirement houses, we work with home care services. And then as part of retirement services, you also have Alzheimer people. So we also have a version of our service for Alzheimer patients. Mm-hmm. And that's a completely different experience because those people have a very different relationship with the environment they are in. So the call are completely different. First, we call the nurse, and then the nurse passes on the phone to the person. And it's nothing about how do you feel, because that stresses them. It's what is around you. Do you see something nice? What do you have for in the last few minutes? What do you do? Do you see some nice trees? And grounding them, completely different. No questions about short-term memory, because we know they don't have it. We might do some long-term memory, which is working better, but it's a completely different type of call.
And you try to reach some positive feedbacks, and based on these positive feedbacks, some improvement.
We're trying to basically support the team taking care of them, ground them for a few minutes. We make them repeat their name so that we, memory exercises on things which are important. So we're trying to ground them basically and support the medical team that takes care of them.
Okay. And do you see any positive feedback already?
That's a tough question with people with Alzheimer. We need a longer period of time. Remember, we've only been live for 5 months. So ask me again in 1 year.
Okay.
we
will do that.
We're doing trials in the Alzheimer centers, but it's too early for me to give you.
It's a longer time. Yeah. And you mentioned that this is a complex platform and service. It's not just the application. Where you are now, and what is your plan for the next couple of years?
I go back to it's a global problem. So I would like in 3 years, I would like to be in many more languages. I would absolutely love to be in Japan, which is the country with the most difficult senior situation, yet complete openness to AI and to technology. So they have that in their habits. I would love InTouch to be available in Japan. It's already, we can place calls in Japan. I actually have clients in Japan, but I'm not working yet with retirement houses in Japan, or I'm not doing active acquisition of clients in Japan. I have Japanese language already. It's already tested, but I don't have the people and the money at the moment to do that scale.
But you are personally touched because you lived in Japan, or just because of the fact that they are the eldest population?
I think it's, for me, culturally, it's interesting.
Yes.
Because of the way you approach the seniors, that's one thing. Second, yes, I lived there and I really like that country. But because it's really the country where the situation is today the most acute. You also have Korea, and I have Korean version ready already, which is another very interesting country to go to.
Yes.
So that's also part of my list. But now I need to focus. So that's my ambition. That's what I want to do. The platform is ready for it. The languages are ready for it. I need to scale this team, scale the investments, and find the people that will be able to communicate our value proposition in Japan.
I have a question, because you are now just speaking about seniors.
Yes.
But this is not only about the seniors. Yeah, I see this problem with the communication between young people, teenagers already, and also, I would say maybe ladies, age of 50, that they're like alone. So you are not...
All the single population.
Exactly. So it could be used also by this kind of the population?
Yes. I do get that question a lot. It is a potential. I chose to focus because when you start up with limited budget, you've got to be focused. So I am focused. I completely realize that with the art of the conversation we've developed, we could go to other segments. Like, yes, there's a peak of loneliness for women around 50, 55. There are adolescents that would need the support. We could do that. I had to choose, and I'm still focused on this. And I think I go also with the market, because the number of seniors is definitely increasing. So the market is going in our direction. One of the things which is important, you heard in the call how smooth the conversation is. This is actually really technically very hard to do. And we actually slow it down for the seniors. You might have noticed we slow down the voice. The voice is slow. We actually introduce artificial pauses in the conversation to give the time to the senior to analyze what we told them. And then sometimes we rephrase the question of what they told us, again, to say, we heard you. We validate what you're saying, and we heard you played back. Those are communication techniques that we use specifically for seniors. We could adapt it for the segment, but we don't. One of the key things was the speed of the speech, and technically to get that speed where it is now is difficult. Now we are so fast, we actually have to slow it down, but at the beginning it was really difficult.
And we heard a female voice. Do you have also a male voice?
We also have a male voice. Yes.
So we can choose. If
We
I
can
would,
choose.
okay.
Most of the time, female voice is preferred, but yeah, you could choose. One thing that we do not do, we could take the voice of a living person. We choose ethically, we choose not to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in that direction. So we have two voices, male, female. It's always the same because control. I want the senior to know they recognize the voice. It's always the same voice. Same time, same voice, same rhythm, same intonation.
In terms of business and market, which market is harder, European or USA market?
Okay, I have to split the answer in two parts. For the consumer market, Europe is harder. More resistance to AI than you have in the US. Definitely, it's a difference. On the retirement houses and the professional market, it's the same all over the world. Seniors are the same all over the world. So the acceptance of that there is a need for a tool like InTouch, it's obvious for anyone. It's how you communicate it, how you internalize it, how you present it to families, which is sometimes harder. But the need is there, whether you're in the US, in Canada, in Europe, or anywhere in the world. Seniors are seniors. They need help. They need support. They need to be communicated to. So on the professional side, I would say it's pretty much the same. Whoever we talk to, they say, yes, we need that.
And Asia, because Asia is the biggest market and the oldest market. On the other hand, they are completely different by culture, by religion, compared to the US and the Europe market.
Yes, but physically they are the same.
Yes.
And so the need for care is the same. The need for employees to take care of them is the same. When we talk to the retirement houses, one of the key issues is they don't have enough people to take care of the seniors.
Yes.
And so they are in a rush. So they don't have the time to talk to them.
Yes.
So they have the same physical issue. They need to be cared for. And then we have the same number of employees issue. That means they don't have the time to talk to the seniors, so they are lonely. Yeah. Loneliness is universal. How you experience it, how you talk about it is different. The feeling is the same.
Yes. Perfect.
And in terms of the fee, you have like a monthly fee or yearly fee?
So it's a monthly fee, both for the consumer or for the professionals. We charge, so for the consumer, it's $29 per month per user. And then in the professional world, it's on a per agreement basis.
So we can actually even in Czech Republic, because you mentioned there are 4 languages, if you can mention which languages you have right now.
We have English, French, Spanish, and Czech live, so you can sign up with them. So we do work with retirement houses and consumers in Czech Republic, in France, in many countries.
I'm a bit curious about the culture feedback, because also my husband is a French gentleman, and definitely 99% of the all conversation is about food. So do you have in France more questions about food and in Czech more about the garden, or you cannot see this?
No. We do an analysis of the topics which are covered. We have about 750 topics which are covered. So it's a pretty wide area. You actually will be surprised how mundane topics are. It's about family, it's about the dog, it's about garden. Yes, it is about food and recipes. Surprisingly, it's not so much about the weather.
Okay.
I was expecting a lot of questions about the weather. It's not.
And also, I learned that you created here in Czech Republic a group of a French community of startups. Is it correct? What is the aim?
So I created. I have two other roles beside InTouch. I'm a consular advisor, so I represent French people living in the Czech Republic, and I help them with their life outside of France. That's one thing. And the second thing I created with a friend of mine is La French Tech, and La French Tech is an organization run out of France, which is there to promote the notion of it's okay to go to France for AI or for technology. It's actually a great place. There's a lot of help for it, and it's a place of innovation. And then that's a French operation, and then we created international operation here in Prague to actually tell Czech people France is a large market. You should look at it. There are people here that you can employ. If you're a French entrepreneur, here are all the supports that you can get in order to move to France. If you're a Czech entrepreneur, we speak English in France. We can help you with offices, and Paris is a great place with great people to hire. And actually, it's been going on for quite a few years, and Paris is now probably, or it is de facto, the AI place in Europe.
So you can see actually the difference between AI development in France and in Czech, that in France is much more developed, the companies and the system and ecosystem for that.
It's completely on a different scale. I mean, Paris is the hub for AI in Europe, more than London, more than Berlin, more than anything else. Prague is a much smaller place. So I can still find amazing people, but it's not the same scale.
And are you also mentoring, because you are working with many startups, Czech, French, and then globally? Are you also mentoring and try to give some advice? But because you are very experienced, you have a lot of expertise. Could you share with the younger generation, with the startups?
Yeah, I do mentoring of young CEOs. Don't worry, I make tons of mistakes. So still, I make new ones, but I still make tons of mistakes. But yes, I'm trying to help them think bigger, because one of the things which with Czech is it's basically the size of a small Chinese city, and so it's important to think larger. And it is definitely changing. But thinking about the world, when you develop something, go big, think big. Don't just think Czech or Germany or Poland, the next door, but no, think Europe at least, and think worldwide.
Globally, yeah.
And so that's what I do, and I love it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also grew up in Hungary, so in the Central Eastern European region, we learned that we should be proud to be small, and it's very difficult to turn out from this.
It's good to be small. Like you can take, and that my first startup was actually a French idea, which I applied to the Czech Republic, because the Czech Republic is big enough that you can be profitable, but it's too small for the big guys to actually focus on it. Yeah. So you can create...
It's a competitive advantage.
It's a competitive advantage, so use it to your advantage, but still, try to find something which is scalable that can be applied in other countries, because the engineers we got here are phenomenal. So there's no reason why they should limit themselves to the Visegrad countries or they think Poland first. No, don't think Poland first. Go bigger market.
Yes.
So is the same actual advice which you are giving to your kids?
Yes, actually, my kid, my son, he's now 23. He's studying in France, business school and fiscal law, and a couple of universities. And I told him, go to the world. So he's worked in the US. He did some law research or law work, business school, studied as well in Italy, studied in Czech, both Czech school and French school. So yes, absolutely. Think big, think outside. And also I encourage anyone to go to countries where the culture is completely different. It's such a good slap in the face to go to a country where you know nothing and you are absolute idiot at everything that you do, and you have to start from the very basic of politeness interaction. That's the best experience. That's why I like Erasmus program. Yes. That's what we do. We send them out to other countries, and okay, they drink a lot, they party a lot, but at least they learn something. They learn that it's not the same as at home. It's super important.
Yeah, Gaiji in Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gaijin in Japan.
What would be your advice for a potential startups? We already mentioned think big, but what will be your real advice?
I think it's never too early to start building your network. And you build your network not only by asking, but also by giving. And it's a two-way thing. So do networking and give as much as you hope to get. Well, you don't even hope. Give, and something good will happen, and you will get back somehow at one point.
So sooner or later, not immediately, but sooner or later.
Yeah, sooner or later, and because it's also a behavior, it's an approach, it's a thinking, and good things will happen.
Excellent. So thank you for this very interesting interview and sharing information about InTouch. So anybody who would like to download InTouch, so you'll have possibilities, and hopefully you will share with us also your webpage and all the details.
And I actually would add one thing that we didn't talk about is InTouch is not just about loneliness. It's also about cognitive decline, and it's about supporting seniors and keep them at home as long as possible.
Yeah.
And so in the society where we are, I don't think we can financially go into a system where all people will all be living in retirement houses. It's just mathematically, it doesn't work. So we have to find a way to keep people at home as long as possible. First, because they're happier at home, and it's financially makes much more sense, and with the help of the families. And it's a complete societal change of mind. Today, we think, okay, there will be retirement houses, but that model is going to break. We will not be able to afford it. So it's very important that we think differently, and that's why some of the service we do are about calling people at home to take their medicine, about checking how they are, and then there's a service about conversation and loneliness. It's one of the services.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.